The morning of the move, the air felt thin with excitement. Akito packed the last of his boxes into the trunk of his father's old sedan. He felt a urge of pride, a sudden rush of being grown up. He was leaving the nest, heading towards the city and the university that promised him total freedom. He barely noticed the way the house seemed to sign behind him. His new apartment was a studio, which was a polite way of saying it was a single dusty room with a kitchenette that smells like old copper. As the sun set on his first night, the silence was louder than he expected. He sat on unrolled futon looking at the bare walls. For the first time in 18 years, there was no sound of his mother's radio or the rhythmic chopping of the vegetables in the kitchen. Reality hits during the first week. The magic laundry basket at home, which always emptied itself and returned clothes clean and folded, was nowhere to be found. Instead, a mountain of socks and shirts grew in the corner. When Atiko finally made it to the basement laundry, the roll of buttons and temperature settings looked like a foreign language. He poured too much detergent, and the bubbles began to zoom from the lid. Then came the hunger. At home, food simply appeared. Steaming bowls of rice, grilled mackerel, and miso soup that tastes like comfort. In his tiny kitchen, Akito tried to recreate his mother's signature curry, but the onion burned, the tomatoes remained rock hard, and the sauce was a salty disaster. He stared at the charred pan, his stomach grumbling in protest. Managing time was a beast he hasn't learned to domesticate. Without his father's firm knock on his door every morning, Akito overslept. He scrambled through the streets, hair messy and toast in his mouth, sliding into the lecture hall just as the professor finished the introduction. His life, once so oddly, felt like a deck of cards scattered in the wind. Late one Tuesday, exhausted and nursing a cold, Akito called home. He expected to complain about the workload or the noisy neighborhoods, but when his mother answered, her voice soft and familiar, he found he couldn't speak. He listened to her talk about the garden and the cats, and suddenly the weight of everything she has done for him, the unseen daily labor, settled in his heart. A few days later, a package arrived. Inside were containers of frozen home cooked meal, a new set of towel, and a handwritten note from his mother email. She has drawn a little map of the laundry symbols and include a recipe for easy curry. Beneath the item was a photo of him as a child, held tight in her arms. He closed his eyes and could almost see her. He remembered how Emma could stand for hours over the ironing board, making sure his uniforms were crisp. He remembered her hands, often red from the cold water of the sink. Never once complained. He realized that her love wasn't just a feeling, it was a series of quiet, tireless actions that has built the foundation of his life. For the ultimate break, Akito took the train back home. When he stepped off the platform, he saw his mother waiting. He didn't just give her a polite nod this time. He walked up and hugged her with the strength that surprised them both. Thank you, he whispered into her shoulder. Emma pulled back, seeing a man where a boy has once been. That evening, Akito insisted on helping his father with the dishes as they walked side by side. The clinking of porcelain and the warmth of the water felt like a ceremony. Akito realized that growing up wasn't about leaving his family behind. It was about being able to walk beside them, understanding the beauty, heavy cost of the love that has brought him that far.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, and share. See you in my next post.